Welcome to another episode of Angel in the Afternoon. I'm Angel Rivera alongside my good friend here, Alex Knight. So, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great week here. Jesus.
I'm doing fine.
I'm okay. I mean, but, so I've had like internet issues all day, so hope we should be fine now to, do this. Let's see.
Yeah, you really need to get a better
So, oh, yeah, I know. Oops, the hell? Don't break. Alright, yeah, I know for sure. So let's see here. So we got plenty to talk about this week. As of last week, we didn't do the show, but this week, we're here, and let's see. Let's start off with where are we? All right, so wait a minute. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Let's start with this dude here. Let's laugh a little bit. I'm not sure if you guys seen this, but this dude kind of had a meltdown because this other dude was wearing the 47 hat, which I guess connects to Trump. Yeah, I wouldn't even thought about that, but he did, and he had a meltdown about it. So hold on, let me just do that real quick. I'm sure this has gone kind of viral, so let's.
Nazi fucking punk.
What are you gonna do?
Go fuck yourself. You're on my fucking campus with that fucking hat on.
Yeah, this is Boston, by the way. I can tell by the accent.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't care, you fucking Nazi.
This is a
Get
public
the fuck
street.
off my campus.
What's
I'm
your
gonna
name?
walk you all the way to this fucking corner, you punk. You fucking understand
Go
me?
ahead. Who are you?
You fucking understand me? It doesn't fucking matter. You fucking Nazi punk. Get this fucking camera out of my fucking face.
Or what?
Get this fucking camera out of my face.
Or what?
Take your fucking fascist
Would your
hat
union like that? Would your union like that?
Hey, you see this?
I know every union
see
guy
this?
in this town.
Get the fuck out of here. You
I know.
fucking supports unions, you fucking
I know
cocksucker.
every
What, you
union
gonna put this
leader.
on your fucking Snapchat? What are you, 35, you fucking cocksucker?
I'm 35.
Take that fucking hat off. You understand me?
Uh-huh.
Take it off. Take it
Okay.
off, you Nazi fucking bootlicker.
Oh.
Nazi fucking bootlicker.
Oh,
Don't be on
okay.
my fucking campus with that
Okay.
Nazi fucking hat on. You fucking understand me, you cocksucker?
I'm loving this.
Look at
This
this
is
fucking
great.
Nazi. 47. This guy supports Trump. Has his fucking hat on. Look at this
I can't
fucking
wait till
Nazi
your foreman
cocksucker.
sees
Get
this.
the fuck out of here.
I can't wait.
You think they support you here? Get the fuck out of here, you cocksucker. You're a fucking Nazi punk.
I'm a
Nazi
Nazi
fucking punk. Yeah, you're a fucking Nazi punk. Is what
Okay.
you are. Take
Okay.
your gay fucking white gold Trump hat off. He's a fucking loser and you're a fucking Nazi punk. Fuck you. Boo this cocksucker.
Go
Boo
ahead.
him. Boo. Boo. This guy's a Trump supporter. Boo. This guy's a huge fucking Nazi. Boo. We don't want you on our fucking campus or in our fucking city. You understand me,
Keep
you
it
prick?
classy.
You fucking
Classy.
understand me, you prick?
Keep it classy.
I am classy, you motherfucker. I back up my community. You see this shit right here?
Oh.
Say no to ICE on campus. Get
I
the
love
fuck outta
I
here.
love ICE. I think we deport all
Get
of
the
them.
fuck out of here. You understand me?
Yep.
Walk.
This is great
Walk,
content.
motherfucker. Walk.
This is
Get the
awesome.
fuck out of here.
This is good.
Walk.
Nice.
Go fuck yourself, cocksucker.
Oh, okay.
Fuck yourself. Wow. Well, interesting.
I mean, he could have just ignored him and done what he did, except he made a fool out of
Yeah, he's
himself.
an it. He's like, go fuck
That'll be-
yourself. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, he had no reason to do that. He's just completely had a full blown meltdown here for no reason.
I bet he voted for Biden.
So I
Kamala.
thought. I'm sure. I assume he did. Shit. I mean, that's all you can really do. Let's see. So I thought we would go to this next. Apparently, we all know that Donald Trump is turning America into oligarchy, right? except for the fact Bernie Sanders been the same shit since Bill Clinton's administration. So that's basically what people are pointing out here.
This great country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy.
He said that in 1993. Donald Trump was nowhere near the White House then. But that yes, but he's now Bernie said, "Oh, Donald Trump is doing it." No, you've been saying this for what, 30 years now? We're
The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget
now Trump's president in 2017
that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news, which is pretty bad, and that is that under Donald Trump, this country is hurtling rapidly toward oligarchy.
Oh my God. You've been saying this for 30 years. I mean, come on. Like, now he's acting like it's just Trump, but it's like, no, you've been saying that for 30 years.
This great country of ours is...
Just played that again for some reason. This is the most, apparently, AOC and Bennett together. They're going to be fighting the oligarchy. I'm guessing Elon Musk.
He's so scared that it's going to an oligarchy, yet it hasn't ruined him. So what does he have to worry about?
Yeah, so they're going to be in Utah on April 13th, which is Sunday. Idaho on April 14th at the Ford Idaho Center, and Montana on April 16th at the University of Montana. So there's the addresses there. And Utah, they're going to be at the John M. Huntsman Center, the University of Utah. Okay. So if you're out there, go check them out or not. I mean, I'm sure nobody would check it out. So yeah, let's see. Let's go to that. Global laws were made progressively. Patriot Act was the icing on the cake. Yeah, we all hate the Patriot Act here, and they're gonna try to do it again. I mean, already with we could barely criticize the Zionist Israeli government. Not English. We can barely criticize the Israeli government.
They'll still only mention Netanyahu, but not Israel, because he supports Israel.
Yeah. So we can barely criticize Israel at this point. Imagine, in a few years, that's probably we can't criticize Israel. I can't do Trump's accent, but you know what I'm trying to say. No, we're not allowed to do that.
Speaking of Israel, did you see Valentina Gomez's embarrassing response to a backtracker?
I missed that. I must have missed that because I didn't see it, but I'm sure it was embarrassing though.
It really was embarrassing.
Wait, oops. So let's see. Here we go. So as everybody knows, I'm going to real quickly bring up the Jet Set nightclub tragedy in Dominican Republic because a couple of baseball players or former baseball players did pass away in this tragedy. I'm not sure you heard about this, Alex. I assume you've had.
No, I did.
Really? You haven't heard about this?
No, I said
I
did.
Okay, I misunderstood you. Okay, yeah, I figured you did because a couple former baseball players passed away in this, as well as Nelson Cruz's sister, who was a government official in Dominican Republic. She died in this too. So Nelson Cruz played for multiple teams, the Rangers, the Mariners too. I mean, I can think off the top of my head. He played for a few more. Octavio Dotel also passed away in this. I mean, he pitched for 12 or 13 teams in his career, including the Yankees very briefly. So we know, yeah. And another one, I'm forgetting who the other one is, but Tony Fernandez, not Tony Hernandez, something like that. Well, I mean, anyways, the death toll has climbed to over 200 now, and it's just everything that I've been reading. It's because apparently initially the club opened in the 1960s, and oops, closed that, and initially it opened in a smaller building, but eventually they moved into a new building, which was it turns out to be an abandoned movie theater. And they moved because it's a bigger building, more they can accommodate more people. They had the club, blah blah blah. So the issue was they did two remodelings, one in 2010 and one in 2015. And the 2015 one included giant lights and like a disco ball, very expensive stuff. But nobody bothered to check the roof because the building was abandoned before they took it over. So, and right before a couple days before the tragedy, a piece of the roof fell off. So it did give a warning, and of course, being capitalists, the owner ignored it, just cleaned it up. It's like, oh, okay, the piece of the roof fell off. Who cares? The roof won't come down, right? Well, it turns
Yes.
out that there were videos of the roof a couple days before, and the roof was sagging. Like it was painfully obvious that the roof was sagging, and there was something wrong with it. But of course, capitalists being, the owner being a capitalist, like I can't close down because because every Monday they had their they had their dance, their nightclub. Especially on Mondays, they were very famous for that. In this club. I'm like, so more than 200 dead after Dominican Republic nightclub disaster. A search for survivors end. So this was the building. The roof was here. You can see right there. The entire thing collapsed on itself. There was also a giant air conditioning system just plopped on top of the roof, which usually where it goes, but nobody bothered inspecting this roof. So Dominican Republic authorities have ended the rescue operation and turned into recovery efforts following a collapse of a nightclub roof on Tuesday, which left more than 200 people dead. This deadly incident in the early hours of Tuesday morning at the Jet Set nightclub sent shockwaves around the country, with 3 days of mourning declared in the wake of the disaster. The removal of bodies from the wrecked building accelerated overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, after Civil Protection Services, removed a large chunk of debris. According to this person here, an engineer from Dominican Republic Civil Protection Services. According to Santana, the majority of the bodies recovered overnight were female and are still being identified. An official statement from the country's emergency center operations Wednesday said that all reasonable possibilities of finding more survivors have been exhausted, and the focus of the operation now on recovering bodies. The last 3 days, last these in the last days, rescue teams have worked uninterrupted to remove debris, helping wounded and rescue people alive. The statement posted on X said. It continues, however, having exhausted any reasonable possibility of finding more survivors. The operation is now in a different phase. Nonetheless, sensitive and crucial, the recovery of human bodies with due respect and dignity that every victim deserves. Juan Manuel Mendez, the director of the operations center, said in a press conference that nobody had been pulled alive from the rubble since Tuesday. Today's Friday, so yeah, I wouldn't expect that at that point. Mendez broke down in tears. He gave a press conference on Thursday announcing that the death toll has risen again. Today, I conclude the hardest job I've done in my 20 years of service. It remains unclear how many people are unaccounted for. Hundreds of rescue workers have spent 2 days combing through the remains of the nightclub after its roof collapsed around 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning during a performance of the merengue artist Ruby Perez, who died as well, by the way, in his orchestra. Authority says Perez's body was recovered from the scene Wednesday morning. And he did go on to pass away right after that. So, a funeral and memorial service for Perez took place on Thursday. It was attended by Dominican President Luis Abinader. I butchered that name, but whatever. Top government officials and other famous merengue singers, including Juan Luis Guerra, were also in attendance. The death toll rose to 221 on Thursday, added 189 people have been rescued alive from the rubble. The previous death toll was 184. The cause of the disaster undetermined. The nightclub was built more than 50 years ago. The capacity up to 500 people. Health Minister Victor said that most trauma injuries suffered by those killed through blows to the head. Well, yeah, the roof fell on top of you. If you're standing or sitting, it's gonna land on your head most likely. So, the majority of the people who died instantly. Many were sitting down. The ceiling hit them in the head and chest, he said, according to local newspaper El Caribe. The Jet Set nightclub, one of the Caribbean nation's most famous venues, and on Monday nights, especially well attended. The nightclub is considered more upscale, attracting high-profile partygoers. Two former Major League Baseball players were in attendance at the venue when it collapsed, and are among dead. They're listed. Yeah, they both passed away. Who are these?
They
I
weren't
know
even
Octavio
listed
Dotel
baseball
is
players.
one. They didn't list it in this article, so I'm gonna go to this one. Octavio Dotel, 15-year MLB veteran, dies in Dominican Republic nightclub roof collapse. So I'm trying to figure out who the other one was. I forget. Octavio Dotel's 100 people killed in that Tuesday. Dotel died and went to the hospital after being rescued from the rubble. Dotel's education academy, Colegios Borrate, mourned them in a statement. He pitched for 13 different teams in Major League Baseball, where he co-held the record for most of the teams played in MLB history when he retired. It was subsequently broken by Edwin Jackson in 2019. Yeah, he's played for, 14, 15 teams now. Dotel appeared in 2 World Series with the Cardinals and Tigers. He won a
Tony
World Series in
Blanco
St.
passed away for.
Louis. Oh, yeah, here we go. Another former Major Leaguer, Tony Blanco, also died in the collapse. So, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Among the dead are also is Nelcy Cruz, the governor of Monte Cristi province. Dominican President Luis Abinader said Cruz was related to former MLB All-Star Nelson Cruz. So, yeah, so Nelson wasn't there, but his sister was, and she didn't make it either. So, so Tony Blanco and Otavio Dotel was there. They both didn't make it, unfortunately, and it's not listed in this article for some reason. So, aerial footage showed the venue with a wide gaping hole in the middle of the building where the audience would have been located during a performance, which we would see right there. The audience would have probably been there and all over here. So, well, desperate families were seen outside the destroyed venue on Wednesday, hoping their loved ones would be rescued from the debris. Local news footage on Wednesday showed some searching for the names of their loved ones and lists hanging on the field hospital outside the venue, while others went to the hospital to search for news. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what happened after 9/11 with this, because the same thing happened. People all over New York there were lists. They were going from hospital to hospital looking for their family members, and it's just this tragic. So, yeah, rest in peace to all the victims. I mean, I hope they figured out what happened. If I had to guess, and this is speculation on my part, the roof was obviously not designed to hold up all those lights that they installed in 2015, and the gigantic air conditioner which was on top of the roof, because let's not forget, this building here was an abandoned movie theater initially. So that roof was not designed to hold up like really heavy lights and stuff like that, so like club lights. So that and it probably was not inspected either by the government. Again, I could speculate on why. Maybe corruption. The owner probably paid off some government officials, and they never bothered to even check it. It's like, okay, yeah, we checked it. No, we didn't check it actually. I mean, corruption like that happens all the time. So that's speculation on my part. There's no proof of that, but I'm just telling you my speculation on what I think could have happened here. Hey Steve, thank you for joining us. If you guys haven't, make sure to give me a like and subscribe. And I assume most of you would have anyways, but you know, just make sure you do it if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe, because I'm sure that YouTube especially likes to unsubscribe people. So if you make sure if you're subscribed, make sure you still subscribe. So yeah, so let's see here. So as everybody knows, I'm sure this is another top story here. The Republicans passed the Save Act of 2025, which is a bill to protect elections, allegedly. So
Interesting that Republicans can get
yeah, so
stuff
they're
done, but not Democrats.
yep. So this is a bill to protect election integrity, according to Republicans. So they passed a bill today, or no, and it's no, either yesterday or today. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I remember I saw it yesterday initially, and I was like, okay, they actually passed the bill, which is interesting because, as you said, Democrats can't get anything done. Republicans immediately they just walked right up and passed a election integrity bill. Again, it's a matter of opinion what it actually is. I mean, could you say, it's a lot of liberals and Democrats in particular says, it'll disenfranchise people from voting. Yeah, so let's see what let's see what this says. The House of Representatives on Thursday approved legislation requiring documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Shouldn't it say documentation or whatever? For anyone registering to
I
vote,
think so.
something. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense the way I read it, but
No,
whatever.
another
For
grammar
anyone,
check.
yeah, and for anyone registering to vote, something voting rights group have warned could disenfranchise millions of Americans. The requirement has been a top election related priority for President Donald Trump and House Republicans, who argued it needed to eliminate instances of non citizen voting, which is already rare in as numerous states.
I mean, I don't get why they're doing this. They won. They won by a lot in the election. What are they doing?
Well, if you ask Republicans, they're trying to protect election integrity, but by that logic, that would mean since they won the election, by that logic, that would mean that their election wasn't Trump's election wasn't secure and wasn't excuse me, it wasn't secure, and you should question the results, which is why I'm surprised they're going past this. They're going to do this, but all right. So blah, blah, blah. It's typically a mistake rather than a coordinated attempt to subvert an election. It's already illegal under federal law for people who are not U.S. citizens to cast ballots and can lead to felony charges and deportation. The bill, known as the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, or the SAVE Act, now heads to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain because Republicans don't have enough of a majority to avoid a filibuster. Oh, trust me, if they want to pass the bill, they'll pass the bill. They'll ram it right through reconciliation. And what, you think the parliamentarians going to stop them? Like it stops Democrats? Absolutely not. We know about the parliamentarian when Biden was president. I mean, trust me. I mean, it stopped Biden, but it sure as hell's not going to stop Republicans. They really want to pass this law. If it eventually does become law, the Save Act would take effect immediately and would apply to all voter registration applications. This has no impact on individuals currently registered to vote, said the Representative Brian Steele, Wisconsin Republican, who'd been advocating for the bill. Voting rights group says that more to the story, the law would affect voters who are already registered to vote if they move, change their name, or otherwise need to update registration. That was acknowledged to some extent by the bill's author, Representative Chip Roy of Texas. I've heard of him during a recent hearing on the legislation. The idea here for individuals to be able to continue to vote if they are registered, Voice said. If if they are if they have an intervening event, or if the states wants to clean the rolls, people would have to come forward to register to demonstrate their citizenship, so we can convert our system over some reasonable time to citizenship based registration system. What documents would be required to register? Now, this is a big deal. If this passes, And if you guys are interested in voting, this is what you would need if you're not registered already, or if you move out of state, or whatever happens. If you're not interested, I don't think it really matters, but still, let's go through it. The SAFE Act compels states to reject any voter registration application in which the applicant has not presented documentary proof of United States citizenship. Among the acceptable items they're demonstrating proof of citizenship are a real ID, compliant driver license that indicates the applicant is a citizen, a valid U.S. passport, a military ID card with a military record of service that lists the applicant's birthplace as in the U.S., a valid government issued photo ID that shows the applicant's birthplace was in the U.S., a valid government issue ID presented with a document such as a certified birth certificate that shows the birthplace was in the U.S. So these are your ways to prove you're a citizen. The problem is a lot of blue states give out license and photo IDs to illegal aliens, so that's why it says ballot. It shows the applicant's birthplace was in the U.S. because that's pretty important. A lot of blue states give out licenses to illegal aliens, and my home state's one of them. So that's why just a regular old ID wouldn't really do much. Let's see. What if my driver license doesn't list my birthplace or indicate I'm a U.S. citizen? In general, driver licenses do not list the birthplace or indicate the cardholder is a U.S. citizen, even many that are real ID compliant. And then this talks about the real ID. I mean, they've been delaying the real ID implementation for like 10 years now. Because I've been hearing about you need to update your real ID or else then you can't fly. You can't get on a plane. So here, after years of delays, any driver license used for identification to pass through airport security will have to be real ID compliant beginning on May 7th. U.S. passports will still be acceptable. So if you don't have a passport and you're flying within the U.S., you would need to have real ID by May 7th, or else they won't let you fly. So apparently they're not pushing this back anymore. So we'll see what happens with that. Although states designate real ID compliances on driver license with markings such as a gold or black star, that alone would not indicate U.S. citizenship. People who are legal residents but not citizens can also obtain a real ID. States that are currently not required to label IDs with a citizen mark, although a handful of states, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, Vermont, Washington, offer a citizens only real ID alternative that might meet SAVE Act requirements. Republicans say they hope more states will move in the direction of the ID that indicates citizenship. So, yeah, again, I mean, a lot of states, I can dig up my ID. It doesn't say where I was born. It just says, my name, my address, the ID number, or whatever. It doesn't say I was born in Camden, New Jersey, where I was born, by the way. It doesn't say that at all. So it just says my name, address, my ID number, or whatever that's called, and that's it. My picture, obviously, which is a picture from 10 years ago, but whatever. I mean, I digress. The structure is put in place now. I think there's at least 5 states that do have citizenship status as part of the Real ID. Encourage more states to do so. That's a part of the goal here. Adoption of the Real ID has been slow. As January 2024, about 56% of driver licenses and IDs in the U.S. were Real ID compliant, according to data collected by the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, it's barely over half, even though the law was passed in like 2005. So what about people who can't access birth or marriage certificates? Voting rights group says that the list of documents doesn't consider the realities facing millions of Americans who don't have easy access to birth certificates and roughly half who don't have a U.S. passport. Again, I'm not buying that. How do you not have access to your birth certificate? Well, did you lose it? Did you get it? Because even if you lose it, you can go to your local city hall and get it. I mean, it's like $20 or 25 bucks. You don't. It doesn't really cost so much to get a new birth certificate. Let's see. Okay, the U.S. passport part I get, but the birth certificate, that's easy to get. Like these like voting rights groups act like people don't have agency. Just go down to City Hall and get a copy of your birth certificate, and that's it. You're fine. They also worry about additional hurdles for women whose birth certificates don't match their current ID because they change their name after getting married. There was an examples of this during local elections last month in New Hampshire, which recently implemented a proof of citizenship requirement for voting. Again, just change your last name. Again, it's like they're just assuming people don't have agency. And Republican says of the provision in the SAFE Act that directs states to develop a process for accepting supplemental documents, such as a marriage certificate, which would establish a connection between a birth certificate and a government issued ID. They argue that the process is similar to obtaining U.S. passport or real ID compliant driver's license. We have mechanisms to giving the state fairly significant difference to make determinations on how to structure a situation where individual does have a name change. The process is specifically complicated in this legislation. I butchered that word, but let's just move on with ourselves. Democrats counter that the bill should have been specified how this was to be done rather than creating a potential to have 50 different rules. How do people submit their documents? I mean, basically, the legislation says applicants who submit federal registration voter form by mail must present documentary proof of U.S. citizenship in person to their local election officer under a deadline set by their state. Voting rights groups have noted this would be a huge barrier for people who live in more rural parts of the country, where the nearest election office might be hours away by car. So, who registers to vote by mail? I mean, isn't this like 2025? I mean, do they still do it by mail? Well, I registered to vote 20 years ago, and I don't know about how it works exactly now. Blah, blah, blah. The SAFE Act directs states in consultation with the U.S. Election Assistance Commission to ensure that reasonable accommodations are made to allow individuals with disabilities who submit a form to provide proof of citizenship to their election official. The legislation also considers some states permit same day voter registration and says in those cases voters must present proof of citizenship at their polling location no later than the date of the election. That would mean people who don't have such proof with them would have to return with their documents before the polls close to be registered and have their ballot counted. Blah, blah, blah. Why the Republicans bring this up? And this is a question that we ask because they won the election. Republicans say any instance of voting by non-citizens, no matter how rare, is unacceptable and undermines confidence in U.S. elections. Democrats respond by saying that voting by non-citizens is already illegal in federal elections. For those for president and Congress, penalties can result in fines and deportations. They say Congress should be more focused on helping states improve their ability to identify and remove any non-citizens who might end up on the voter list instead of forcing everyone to prove their citizenship beforehand. You can do both.
As if the Democrats have done.
Yeah, I
anything.
mean they can do both. They can remove non-citizens from the rolls, and we can also prove we're citizens, beforehand when you register to vote. I mean that's not a complicated process. It just isn't. You have your birth certificate. Here it is. Here's my ID. You're a citizen. You're registered to vote. I mean, why is this such a big deal? I don't understand. A recent review in Michigan identified 15 people who appeared to be non-citizens who voted in 2024 general election, out of more than 5.7 million ballots cast in the states. Of those, 13 were referred to the Attorney General for potential criminal charges. One involved a voter who has since died, and the final case remains under investigation. Our careful reviews of blah blah blah. That's illegal activity is very rare. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said in the statement, "I would take all violations of election law very seriously, but this is a tiny fraction of potential cases in Michigan and at the national level do not justify the recent efforts to pass laws, knowing that we block tens of thousands of Michigan citizens from voting in future elections. That's bullshit. Just get your ID, you have your birth certificate ready to go, and you're good. You can vote. I don't understand." This is a bunch of horse crap, which is why Republicans turn around and say, "Oh, why don't you want you to prove your citizenship? What you're trying to have illegals vote?" And round and round we go with this nonsense. Just
Yeah.
if they pass this bill, just okay. What's the requirements? What's the documents I need if I want to vote? Okay, let me get this. Let me get my birth certificate ready. Let me get my real ID. Bam, bang, bang. You can register. You can vote. No problem. I mean, they act like people don't have agency. They can't figure out this stuff for themselves. But nope. They can't. Sean says, "I laugh at how they act like our vote matters in the first place." That's another great point. Again, our vote doesn't really matter, but at the same time, though, this save act or it's basic. All it is. It's just, hey, look, prove you're a citizen. You're allowed to vote. That's it, and it's not that complicated. People act like Democrats, liberals act like people don't have agency, and of course, what do? They immediately go to, oh well, black people, Hispanics, minorities don't have money to pay for an ID, or they don't know how to get a birth certificate. They don't know how to do this and that. And fuck you. I mean, we're not stupid. We're minorities, yeah, but we're not stupid. We could figure. We have agency. Like, you don't have to be a good white and defend us every time you turn around, like in the dumbest, most racist way possible. Honestly, this is what it is, racist when these good whites out there assume that Latinos and blacks can't do anything for themselves, and they can't possibly prove they're citizens because they don't have money for an ID, or they can't get a birth certificate. An ID is like what, $30, $35, and they birth certificate, if they don't have it, is 65, like what, 35, $40. So again, less than $100, you can have all the proof you need to vote if they really want to vote. That's the key. If they don't want to vote, they don't have to worry about any of this. So this doesn't really affect them at all. So if I weren't registered to vote, if I, let's say, move out of state or something, it's like, I'm not registering to vote again. Like, for what? For what? I'm not gonna even like bother with that. So of course we got the amount of time it takes to vote is not worth it, and it changes nothing. I agree. I mean, trust me, if I registered 20 plus years ago to vote, but I only reason why I voted in the last election was because the ballot came to me in my mailbox, and I filled it out and sent it back. I think I voted for Jill Stein, if I remember correctly, but I don't honestly remember who I voted for because I really didn't care. The SAVE Act is a threat to our democracy. It will limit access to polls. It will gut the National Voter Registration Act.
Wait, we still have a democracy? I thought democracy ended after Trump won.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but apparently, we still have a democracy, at least according to this congresswoman here. It would lead to voter purges. Stop this bill. Hands off our vote, or her vote, whatever. All right, so
take back money too.
all right, so this is a random congresswoman here.
So why are we here today?
Oops.
Why are we debating a bill that addresses a non-existent problem while hardworking American families?
Well, it's still a problem. It's a tiny problem. I'm not saying it's a huge problem, but it's still a problem that needs to be solved. So I might as well solve it.
Families are struggling with rising costs and economic insecurity. Because Republicans in Congress, they don't have real solutions. Rather than addressing the issues that matter, like...
You say something?
Look at her profile. Look at the flag emoji next to Good Trouble.
Yeah. The Ukrainian flag, ladies and gentlemen. So she's just a Democrat.
Lowering grocery costs and helping families get ahead. They are prioritizing a bill that disenfranchises millions of American women. Roughly 69 million women, about 25% of eligible voters in our country, have IDs that do not match their birth certificates, usually because they changed their name once they got married. Mm-hmm. Under this bill, if they don't have a passport, and half of Americans don't, they wouldn't be able to register to vote. Think about that.
Well, that's not really true. I mean, you just have to get other. The law clearly states, and we read it just now, that the states have to come up with other ways in order to, make the paperwork jive. It's 1960s or something, but whatever. Make the paperwork work out together, and make sure you can vote. You don't have to get a passport. It'd be nice you had a passport, but you don't have to get one. That's just not true there.
Tens of millions of women, the backbone of our families and our communities, stripped of their right to vote simply because they got married. Imagine a woman who has voted in every election since she turned 18, who pays her taxes, who contributes to her community. One day, she learns that because her name changed when she got married, she is suddenly unable to register to vote in her state.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I mean, again, isn't she registered already under this scenario? Because she just said she'd been voting since the age of 18. But because she got married, she had to re-register. That's not how it works, does it? I mean, once you register, as long as you to move out of state, as long as you to move to another state, you're fine. Like, I don't understand what she's upset about. Unless you're talking about new married couples and the one who got married and they're registered to vote, that's one thing. But most people register to vote when they're 18 because when I was 18 at least, I got a card in school. It's like, okay, here, registered to vote. It's like, there you go, but mail it back and that's it. I registered to vote. It wasn't a big deal, you know.
No amount of documentation, no social security card, no marriage license, no previous voter registration will satisfy the requirements of this bill unless she possesses an updated passport or a birth certificate that matches her current name. This isn't just bureaucratic nonsense. It is an outrageous attack on the rights of women across our country.
Oh, God.
And the worst part, Madam Speaker, is that Republicans have known that this was an issue with this bill for years, and they've done nothing to fix it. They either don't care that millions of American women...
Again, that's not true. I mean, the bill clearly states that that states have to come up with a system in order to make sure that women have their right to vote, even though their birth certificate says one name and they change their last name. So the states have to come up with their own system. That's what the SAVE Act says. So there's this rhetoric and lying, quite frankly. You know?
Women will be stripped of their right to vote.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, I mean, you know, states, you know, the law, the bill, it's not a law yet. The bill clearly states that states have to come up with their own system to accommodate women who've gotten married and changed their last names. So again, that's not. This isn't like, you know, a big deal. You know, just, you know, states have to come up with their own system, and the next election isn't for another almost 2 years. The midterms are in 2026. So if the bill passes within the next week or so, you have almost 2 years to implement the systems. So yeah, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. My dad was an environmental lobbyist. Popeye says he worked for the Sierra Club and Dow Chemical at the same time. They had party with all the politicians. They all act like Trump in private. Not surprising. That's totally nuts. I believe that completely, because the thing with Trump is he acts the way, you know, he acts like all the politicians act, but he does it in public. He's open about it, and that's why nobody likes him in Washington, because he's exposing exposing their insider game here. So apparently this lady here blocked me, but I could still see her on video here. The reason why I know she blocked me is because this author has blocked you, so you can't perform this action. Okay. I don't even know who she is. Why did she block me? Who are you? Hold on. Maryland resident, born and raised in Brooklyn, blah, blah, a DNC delegate. I must have interacted with her and she blocked me. I don't remember. I mean, obviously I was important enough to block, but I don't remember even interacting with her. So anyways, the Republicans passed the SAVE Act today in the House. It will get filibustered in the Senate. Not necessarily. Not if they ram it through reconciliation. It's not going to get filibustered. But here's some more info.
It's also 2024 DNC delegates, so yeah.
So Kamala Harris supporter, but I don't remember interacting with her unless she saw one of my tweets and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna pre-block this guy before he attacks me or something." Because I don't remember this person at all, and somehow I'm blocked by her. Like, I'm blocked by a lot of people. I don't even know who they are, or don't even remember them, or remember interacting with them. It's like, who are you? Why you blocked me? But whatever. All right, so Popeye also says, Dad took me on their scouting locations for their meetings, and the most important thing is that food and the golf course. Then the meeting next. Their compromises are not telling on each other. Again, they're rich and powerful, not supposed to tell each other. But of course, Trump doesn't care. Trump's like, yeah, this is how we act. Well, I'm doing whatever I want. What? I mean, I can't believe you guys are outraged by this. I mean, why does the elite in Washington hates me? Oh, because I expose them and I expose how we all act here in Washington. Okay, don't give a shit. So it would get filibustered. I do need to take a break. I'll be back like in a minute. So just give me a minute. Thank you. Sorry about that. We're good. Yeah.
Just wanted to give you an update. Jesus. Yankees are down 5-0, top of the first inning. Marcus Stroman didn't even make it out of the first. So, yeah.
I'm not shocked by that. I mean, just real quick, if it wasn't for all the injuries, he probably wouldn't have been in a rotation anyway. So, I just hope he doesn't pitch 150 innings that are in his contract in order to make that third year guaranteed. I would rather pitch some kid I've never heard him. Make sure Stroman doesn't pass that innings clause in his contract. But I digress. Let's see. Liberals always talk over me when I talk about that part. Yes, they don't want to hear the truth. All they want to hear is Trump bad, Orange Man bad, and Kamala Harris is the greatest, or Pete Buttigieg, whoever the nominee is going to be in 28. So that's all they want to hear about. So let's see what this woman has to say. Probably a bunch of bullshit. So
SAVE Act was
5 minutes. I'm not going to play all this, but let's go through a little
passed
bit
in the
of
House
it.
of Representatives today, and this is an article from the AP that explains how the House's requirements to prove U.S. citizenship could affect the ability to register to vote. I read the bill, and it is 24 pages long. It is not a long bill. As it says here, the law would affect voters who are already registered if they move, change their name, or if they otherwise need to update their registration. Per Chip Roy, who wrote the bill, he says the idea here is that for individuals to be able to continue to vote if they are registered, if they have an intervening event, or if the states want to clean the rolls, people would come forward to register to demonstrate their citizenship so we could convert our system to some reasonable time, a citizenship-based registration system. The key words there were clean the rolls. And these are the documents that would be required if you had to prove your citizenship. A real ID, but only the one that indicates that the applicant is a citizen, which only 5 states have, a U.S. passport, a military ID with the military record of service that lists the applicant's place of birth, a valid government issued ID that shows the applicant's place of birth ID. And
this is what I already went through. I mean, this is not even a response. This is just like, I thought it was some sort of like meltdown response or something.
I'm hearing all of that. Free Palestine.
Yeah, I mean, I cut it out like, wait, I literally went through all this and explained all this, and she's like, it's just, I thought she would melt down about it and say bullshit. That's why I started playing it, but so The Democrat. And so let's go to this very upset person here, or account, whatever. The rejection of legal immigrants was almost a bipartisan idea. The Clinton speech on the topic received a standing ovation from both parties. Now in 2025, we can barely pass the SAVE Act. What happened to the Democratic Party? I don't know. I mean,
all Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Doesn't it?
that sounds very similar. Like the president today was something he would say. Like he's an orange man. It sounds just like him. Isn't that weird?
Read Popeye Sailor's reply.
Yeah, it's like that sounds very similar to what we're hearing today from the Republican president. And now it's like now the Republican president is Hitler and a fascist and a Nazi, whatever you want to call him, because he says pretty much the exact same thing that that President Clinton said 30 years ago. It's like it's just incredible. It's just like like Democrat. What happened to the Democratic Party? I don't know. I mean, they went insane after Trump won. I don't know. I mean, that's because even when Obama was president, they were kind of like they did the whole anti-immigrant thing then too. So Obama was the deporter in chief, and Democrats proudly reelected him again in 2012. So it wasn't like it wasn't like they were that overly embarrassed by that. Let's see. I just saw something. Where is it? Ah, here we go. Okay. So what is this? What state? Yeah, so let's say. Yeah, so let's go to bear with me 1 second. I literally let's see, that's not So what's funny, real quick, I mean, I didn't really discuss much about the tariffs because first of all, they started Monday. And second of all, by today, the only country that is left in that tariff list is China. Because Trump put a 90-day pause on all tariffs, of course. So it's like, and of course, Wall Street melted down, and of course, I was like, okay, well, the rich people are actually squirming a bit. I don't care. So, yeah, eventually now everything is fine. Everything is back to normal. And I was like, real. And then, and then I was like, okay, so people are complaining about China. It's like, we can't buy anything from China. It's not fair. It's like, yeah, don't buy from China. I don't know what to tell you. The only thing is, if you're a gamer or a computer guy, you're going to be kind of screwed soon as these tariffs take effect.
Yeah,
Because
I'm sure you heard about what's going on with the Switch 2.
yeah, I was just going to bring that up. The Nintendo Switch 2, I mean, this is the only reason why I'm bringing it up because it's actually relevant to this. Nintendo Switch 2 was made in Japan, but, a lot of the components come from China, I'm sure. Anyway, as soon as the president announced the tariffs, immediately Nintendo announced they were taking the Switch off of pre-order, the Switch 2, I mean, because they were like, "Oh yeah, we have to reevaluate the our pricing with the tariffs and blah blah blah." Basically, it gives Nintendo an excuse to charge more money because trust me, I mean, I'm sure you saw the Mario Kart game or whatever. They're charging like $90 for it.
Yeah, they're gonna be charging games $70 to $80 digitally and then $90 physically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all the rumors we've been hearing about GTA 6 possibly costing $100, well, it could possibly happen. So
Yeah, because here's the thing: if Nintendo actually gets people to pay $80-$90, because again, it's like if it's most people will probably go digital just to save the $10, but there are some gamers who still like the physical copy of the game. So,
do you remember when the Xbox One was originally revealed? Remember all the controversy it had with the online DRM stuff? And remember when Don Matrick was like, "Fortunately, we do have a console that you connect online connectivity. It's called Xbox
360."
Yeah, and the Nintendo president, I think his name is Doug Bowser. I know his last name's Bowser.
Yeah, ironic. Yeah.
But you heard him say something similar about that, right?
Yeah.
When you have a system you can play, it's the Switch One.
Yeah. So Nintendo is basically like they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't care. This is what we want to do. Either you buy it or you don't." And quite frankly, unfortunately, I think a lot of people will buy it because Nintendo has that niche audience. Like no matter what they do, they'll stick with them and purchase their products.
The last Nintendo console I owned was the GameCube.
Me too.
It turns out, it looks like I'm not gonna It's still gonna be my last own.
Yeah, me too. That was the last one I had. I never got a Wii, never got the Wii U, I never got Switch. No, that's not true. My mother has a Switch, which she only used once or twice and then never used again because she wanted to play the new Mario Galaxy game, and I was like, okay. So anyway, she played it once or twice and never played it again. And her excuse was, "Well, I got the games on my iPhone. I don't have time to play it." It's like you paid 100 and what was it, $80, whatever it was at the time for the Switch One, and you only played it once or twice. I played it once or twice, but that's the reason why. And that was it. I never touched it again either. So yeah, now the Switch 2 is out. I think did they put it back on pre-order? Hold on, Switch, because I saw something about that on X. Hold on, let me, because I saw, unless it was some X account, that was screwing around, but here we go. Let me just read this. This is from, looks like IGN. Date for first batch of Switch 2's My Nintendo Store pre-order invitations in the US and Canada. Priority requirements set. This article originally pointed to May 8th as the date for new information, but this has been updated. It has been the case since April 2nd. We apologize for the error. We've edited the headline to round up the details and explainer format rather than presenting new information. So, yeah, this is before. No, yeah, this is April 11th. This is before, isn't it? Because they cancel. This is $449.99.
Yep.
I think the first one cost like a couple $100. It was like they just doubled the price.
It was like $250. I think.
Yeah, and that was a Nintendo Switch with Mario Kart World bundled in, $499.99. Mario Kart World by itself, $79.99. Donkey Kong Bonanza, $69.99. Why are they charging less for Donkey Kong? I don't know.
It's Nintendo.
Nintendo Switch 2 camera, $49.99. Why would I want a camera? Joy-Con 2 controller, $89.99. Oh my god! Look, this is. I assume this is after the. This is after the tariffs were calculated in. I'm assuming. Because Do you think Nintendo will increase the price of the Switch 2 beyond $450 in response to
Yes.
Trump's tariffs? I guarantee you they will. I mean, look at that. Most voters, Nintendo look for an excuse to charge more. So yeah, that's basically Nintendo did. So as far as I know, you still can't pre-order. It doesn't say if you can pre-order, but let me see.
And I still
Ooh,
don't own any of the 9th gen consoles, considering how bad
I don't
gen
either.
been. But of course, the closer when GTA 6 releases, I'm going to get a PS5 for it. Not the PS5 Pro, because that's a fucking disaster, but I will get the regular PS5.
Let's see. See, I went to Best Buy. You can't even pre-order it yet. It says coming soon.
Man.
So yeah, see if you're looking for a Switch 2 in the U.S., good luck trying to. They're not sure when to be available for pre-order because thanks to Donald Trump's tariffs on China, which most of the components come from China. So yeah, and that's an excuse from Nintendo to raise the prices on you. So if another reason to hate the Orange Man, if you're a gamer, especially like Nintendo, that's the reason why. Um, yeah, like you were saying, I don't own any of the new gen consoles. I mean, I did have a gaming PC, which is broke on me recently. It's the only computer I have left, so I have to get another gaming PC because I miss my games, especially the one I forget which one I was
I
playing,
recommend
but
buying a pre-built PC because it's harder to build stuff right now, and it's cheaper. So
yeah,
or I
I'm
mean, I
not.
don't know if it's cheaper, but I mean it's just better to do so.
Yeah, I never liked playing cards or chess pinball. It was a few weeks and Pong sucked. Never played games. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, my mother I think might have played like that original ping pong back in the 70s. But
My mom's favorite game is solitaire. So
yeah. So she plays a lot of those games on her phone now. So it's not like So what's going on now? We real quick. GTA 5 will probably be $100.
you meant GTA 6.
Did I say 5?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 6. It's probably be $100 because at this point, Rockstar might look at Nintendo. It's like people are still buying those games even though they're like outrageously
Although
expensive.
Rockstar could look in that situation and maybe realize it would really divide their fan base, so maybe they won't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing. I know they're real quick. I'm sorry to get off on a tangent on video games, but bear with me 1 second. Um, Rockstar is going. Their budget for GTA 6 is probably massive. Like what, $500 million, maybe
Well,
more.
it's rumored to be like $2 billion. That's
Oh
just
my god!
yeah.
Wow, that's a rumor that they spent $2 billion developing that game. I would not be surprised. I mean, when they start developing it, 10 years ago, like right after Red Dead Redemption
Sure, it
2
was.
came out.
Yeah, not too long either. GTA 5 or RDR2 came out, so yeah.
Yeah, so if they spent around let's say that number is true, $2 billion to develop that game. I mean, they could. I think they could sell it for $70 and turn a profit rather quickly because how many people are going to buy that game? I mean, I guarantee you,
as Trump would say, billions and billions and billions.
Like they don't need to charge $100. I mean, that'd just be greedy by Take-Two because Take-Two Interactive is the parent company of Rockstar, but I'm not sure whether Rockstar sets the prices or Take-Two. I'm assuming it might be Take-Two.
I'm sure Take-Two probably orders it, I guess.
Yeah, so they'd be the one that sets the price for the game, but I'm like, yeah, they don't need to get greedy here. I mean, if they charge a regular $69.99 or whatever it is, they'll turn that profit rather quickly and get back that $2 billion.
In April or May is when they ramp up their marketing or their screenshots and trailers. So hopefully we get something from GTA 6 really soon because
that's the thing. If we don't get a new trailer soon, I don't think it's coming out this year either.
Yeah. Well, I keep forgetting. I don't remember the name of the guy who owns. Strauss Zelnick. Yeah, Strauss Zelnick. he's been saying, GTA 6 development's going really well still. It's still planning for fall of 2025. So it's just, there's just not talking right now. But
it's yeah, I mean, that's the weird part. If it's on schedule for a fall 2025 release, I mean, why aren't they hyping it up more? It just seems like they're like tight-lipped about it.
Well, no, but usually, even previous Rockstar games, even before like May or April, May, it's not a whole. It hasn't been a whole lot, but usually this would be the time that we would.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring.
So,
I mean, they would have to come out with another trailer or some kind of promotion leading into the
definitely
release.
See something either April or May, so we just have to wait and see. So, hey, Steph.
Witchy's here. Hey, it's okay. I mean, glad you're able to join now. I mean, for a few minutes. Let's get back to more serious news here. Thank you for indulging us. So let's get to Mahmoud Khalil because the most recent this broke recently. In fact, like a couple hours ago before that went on air. So I figured I'd bring this up again. Louisiana immigration judge says Mahmoud Khalil can be deported. So now it's now the judge. Let's see what it says. A Louisiana immigration judge says Friday that Columbia University graduate Mahmoud Khalil, a legal permanent resident, is deportable. The judge's decision comes after the federal government submitted a memo Wednesday from Secretary of State Marco Rubio, alleging Khalil can be deported because of his belief statements or associations that would compromise U.S. foreign policy interests. What does that mean? That means he criticized Israel.
Exactly. What happened to just deporting illegal immigrants, Trump? What happened to that?
He criticized Israel, and he's allegedly pro-Hamas, even though there's no evidence for that part. But so
Hamas,
that's what that means.
Hamas. Oh yeah, commas. Yeah.
A removability finding in immigration court means that a judge has determined that the individual is subject to removal from the United States due to a violation of immigration law or lack of legal immigration status. Khalil attorneys are expected to appeal the ruling. The judge's decision does not mean that Khalil will face deportation soon, as he has an ongoing case in New Jersey. A federal district judge in New Jersey ordered attorneys for Khalil and the U.S. Department of Justice to hold a telephone conference immediately after the immigration hearing in Louisiana. Khalil's legal team said the decision by the Louisiana judge was a violation of the graduate's constitutional rights that sets a harmful precedent. Despite the government's failure to prove that Mahmoud broke the law, the court has decided that lawful permanent residents can have their status revoked for pro-Palestine advocacy. Khalil's legal team said in a press conference following the hearing, "This is a blatant violation of the First Amendment and dangerous precedent for anyone who believes in free speech and political expression." Again, that's the thing. Does the First Amendment apply to permanent residents? The assumption that the Supreme Court's always said yes, and now all of a sudden it's like now that's in question whether the First Amendment applies to lawful permanent residents. Because if that's the case, if that precedent is set, if you're a lawful resident, you got to shut the fuck up and say nothing about politics. Because if a Democrat's in charge, you could be deported for anti-Democrat speech too. So this is not a good precedent set legally, one way or another. Khalil was arrested last month by federal agents outside his apartment on the campus of Columbia University following a deportation order from the Trump administration. Khalil, who's married to a U.S. citizen, is a prominent Palestinian activist and played a central role in the protests against Israel's war in Gaza on the Ivy League campus last year, which we all know. At the end of the hearing, Khalil told the court that he hasn't been granted due process rights and fundamental fairness, according to a news release from the American Civil Liberties Union, aka the ACLU. This is something the ACLU should be doing, because I've been complaining about the ACLU for years. Because now, actually, after Trump was elected the first time, they seem to be focused on trans rights and like DEI type bullshit. It's like the whole point of the American Civil Liberties Union is to protect the First Amendment. And now all of a sudden that doesn't matter. But at least they're back to what they're supposed to be doing here, which is good. Neither of these principles were present today in the whole process. Khalil said, "This is exactly why the Trump administration has sent me to this court 1,000 miles away from my family." Nor Abdallah, Okay, I butchered her name, but whatever. I'm sorry about that. Khalil's wife said that her husband being in prison for his pro-Palestine advocacy. That's what it definitely looks like. I mean, unless the U.S. No. He technically violated his his green card status. He didn't fill out this form properly. There's a misspelling here, so we can deport him, right? And that's all they're using all those excuses. Like there's a mistake on he may have lied on his immigration form. It's like, why didn't you notice this years ago? Uh, why would he do that? He benefits from those illegals.
She was responding to me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because she said little bro,
Uh-huh. Okay, I see. My husband's political prisoner who's been deprived of his rights because he believes that Palestinians deserve equal dignity and freedom. She said in the statement that was read during Friday's briefing, "There's nothing the government can say about my husband that can silence his truth." Assistant Chief Immigration.
To respond to Steph, yes, I'm still planning to come on Sunday. I haven't forgotten. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm planning to come on, even though it depends. Because I do have another meeting after church on Sunday. I should be home by 3, but if not, I'll let you know. I'll be a few minutes late, so I'll be coming on, but hopefully be at 3. If not, maybe a little bit after. So yeah, Assistant Chief Immigration Judge Jamie. Is that James or Jamie? Is supposed to be Jamee.
It's probably
Jamie. Jamie Comans, okay, has ordered the federal government to turn over evidence supporting its order to remove Khalil, a legal permanent resident, from the U.S. by Wednesday evening, or she would move to terminate the case, according to Khalil's lawyers. So the government has until next Wednesday to prove that Khalil should be deported, or if they don't provide evidence, she would dismiss the case most likely. In response to the request, the federal government on Wednesday submitted Rubio's memo, which had contained no allegations of criminal activities. Wait, did I screw that up? Blah, 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 blah. It's this past Wednesday. Yeah, this past Wednesday, which they did, which was Rubio's memo. Khalil's attorney to challenge the accusations against him in federal and immigration courts, saying he's been targeted over his pro-Palestine activism in violation of his constitutionally protected right to free speech, which is what it definitely 99% looks like. Even though the administration is saying no, it's not that. He violated this, or he lied on his immigration form slightly. I mean, please don't expose the fact that we are. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're good. Today we saw our worst fears play out. Mahmoud was the subject of a charade due to the process, a flagrant violation of his right to a fair hearing, and a weaponization of immigration law to suppress dissent. The immigration attorney for Khalil said in a statement Friday, "Look, this is the reason why they because he was arrested. He was in New Jersey initially, but eventually they moved him in secret to Louisiana. That way, a judge in Louisiana would rule, and the judge would be less sympathetic than here in New Jersey, which is why they did that on purpose. But of course, that's why they moved him to Louisiana to get him away from more friendlier judges and his family. Friday's ruling could have a chilling effect on free speech at colleges and universities in the U.S. Gloria Brown Marshall, constitutional law professor of John Jay College of Criminal Justice, told CNN, "It is chilling to all free speech rights when the federal government memo sets out no criminal charges against Mahmoud, but seems to say one person can affect America's foreign policy through student protests," she said. "Unless that student is one very powerful person, that's just a bunch of bullshit. There's no way one kid, 20-year-old kid, can affect American foreign policy. So that's just total bullshit." Yeah, yeah. So that's the next step. The Mahmoud Khalil can be deported. Right now, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of appeals and a bunch of stuff filed, so he may be sitting in jail a lot longer, unfortunately. And there isn't much that isn't much that can be done right now except for hoping that somehow he doesn't get deported back to Syria. Or apparently, I also read they might deport him to Algeria for some reason. So if not Syria, so I'm like, why Algeria? I guess unless he's part Algerian, I don't know. But but let's see. Is there anything else? Whoops. Bear with.
Like I mentioned, you should check out Valentina Gomez's tweet about wanting AIPAC to pay her.
Yeah. Do you have? I don't know. Do you have it? Because I.
Well, you can look through my profile because I responded to her. So.
All right. So.
The replies section.
Okay. Let's see. Well, let me just. Perfect.
App blocker. What's
going on?
It's not just YouTube. The app blocker that I use is uBlock Origin. That's what I use. So that answers your question.
Why is that doing that? Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Did I get it? I might have gotten it. Yeah, I got it. So it's 3:00, right? Because, like I said, I should be home by then. But if I'm not, I might be a few minutes late. So I'll just pop in then. Meanwhile, let's see. This is a NBC report, and I'm sure they might have new information here. It's from an hour ago, so.
Just the last hour, an immigration judge in Louisiana has ruled that Columbia University grad student Mahmoud Khalil can be deported after the government said Khalil's presence in the U.S. has, quoting here, potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences. You'll recall Khalil, a green card holder, participated in pro-Palestinian demonstrations on Columbia's campus and was detained by ICE in New York before he was flown to a detention center in Louisiana last month. Khalil now has until April 23rd to challenge the judge's decision. Let's go now to NBC's Laura Jarrett. She's been following this for us. And Laura, explain the judge's reasoning here, and what are we hearing from his legal team?
Yeah, Tom, this basically comes down to the State Department putting forth a terse two-page memo suggesting that Khalil's activities as a protester and activist on campus were against U.S. national security interests.
How would that be possible? Wait, is she...
Protester and activist on campus were against U.S. national security interests.
So how is protesting Israel against U.S. national security interests?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
The only reason why that would be is because Israel runs the United States and Netanyahu got his feelings hurt. That's the only reason why that would make sense. Yeah. Netanyahu got his feelings hurt. So that's the only reason why that would make sense. Like, oh yeah, this one kid protesting Israel, he threatens our entire U.S. national security somehow. Like, that makes no sense.
Interests. They put that in a memo, and the judge used that as justification today. Obviously, his lawyers disappointed, pushing back, saying in a statement this time, if Mahmoud can be targeted in this way simply for speaking out for Palestinians and exercising his constitutionally protected right to free speech, this can happen to anyone over any issue the Trump administration dislikes. We will continue working tirelessly until Mahmoud is free and rightfully returned home to his family and community. Tom, you mentioned he has the ability to challenge this. This is all happening in front of an immigration judge in Louisiana. Unlike sort of the regular federal court process that we also see in all these immigration cases, he still has that avenue in New Jersey. And a judge there has set a hearing to take this issue up, Tom, recognizing that he's now potentially deportable.
Well, and so I was going to ask you that as a follow-up. I mean, he is in Louisiana, and this judge in Louisiana has ruled against him, but one could argue he might find a favorable judge in the New York City area where he's from.
And it's one of the suggestions that he made. He actually addressed the court himself. Halil did, Tom, and said, look, this is the reason that the Trump administration sent me 1,000 miles away from my family. Obviously, he's based here in New York, was arrested here at his home in New York. So he'll continue to challenge this. But I do think the broader point, aside from just his case, this is really about a test of the limits of the courts and in these immigration contexts where courts really do defer to the executive branch when it comes to immigration and deportation generally, Tom.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, usually the immigration judges usually defer to the federal government, to the executive. So, yeah, that's that's why they did that. I found what you were. So, APAC Tracker, it's APAC Tracker is kind of they do a lot of good, but at the same time they're pretty shit libby. So this is good. So APAC Tracker says Israel first. Valentina Gomez, a candidate for Texas 31 U.S. House, warning: this candidate is a loud and proud Zionist.
Like, we in America, we gotta deport you and all that.
I've seen her. Yeah, I've seen this woman.
You scroll down.
Valentina says, "APAC, hit me up, baby." Like not baby, but so she tags APAC, the Israel, the pack that we all know.
She got ratioed for that too.
Yeah,
and I responded to
her. Israel hit me up. Oh my God, 560 responses, 85 likes. She did got ratioed to hell.
I mean, what was she thinking?
Yeah, I mean. It's like, yeah, that's something, you wouldn't do. I mean, 560 replies, 98 retweets, 85 likes. Yeah, I mean, she got ratioed to hell. I like this.
What? In the effing F? Are you kidding me?
I can't believe this. I mean, I didn't see this until I looked at it. It's like, wow. Yeah, I mean, so this is what the response was. What is this? Okay, this is what she said. Okay, here we go.
Let me make this clear. Just like President Trump, I support Israel because I don't want a bunch of little terrorists with fucked up beards and ugly haircuts. Let me make this clear. Just like President Trump, I support Israel because I don't want a bunch of little terrorists.
Oh, little terrorists. Okay. Her accent makes it hard to understand sometimes.
With fucked up beards and ugly haircuts.
Fucked up beards.
That bow down to a stupid rock. Killing a bunch.
Oh no, the rock, the rock in Jeddah. Oh God, like she just shitting all over the Muslim religion here.
Of people if they don't convert to Islam. Even China declared Islam a mental illness, guys. And
so a conservative is now holding up China as the communists in China as like, hey, look, even the fucking Chinese says Islam is a mental illness. Like, I thought you hated communism because you're on the right. I assume you hate communists. I guess now, when it's convenient for you, you're like, oh, yeah. Even the Chinese think Islam is a fucking mental illness.
For the first time, I agree with them because Islam is not compatible with humanity. They're an aggressive and violent religion. And if you really want my honest opinion, I'd say bomb every terrorist across the world. Bomb them all.
So you want all Muslims killed?
No, absolutely not. Well,
just
the Muslims
right.
want us killed.
That's what she said. Yeah, that's hilarious. She's like,
terrorist across the world. Bomb them all.
Bomb them all. You just said
all
that.
Muslims killed.
No, absolutely not. The Muslims want us
you said.
Killed. That's what it says on their Quran. On their Quran, you go to Surah 5, Surah 8, Surah 12. That's exactly what it says in the Quran. The Bible doesn't say kill the people.
Hey, you know, when you cherry pick the Quran, other people can turn around and cherry pick the Bible when Jesus or God says murder everybody, and especially in the Old Testament. So I would not be cherry picking the Quran, because then other people can turn around and cherry pick from the Bible and say, well, your God said to murder everybody too. Is that okay? And by your logic, I mean, we can kill you, right? Like,
kill the people if they don't convert to Christianity. The Quran specifically says, instill terror in the hearts of the disbelievers.
Right.
It's not a peaceful religion. You're supposed to be killing people if they don't believe in your God, in that little rock of yours. Otherwise, you're an apostate. That's
again, it's
I could because of what they say.
Yeah, I could turn around. I could cherry pick that. I mean, I can turn around and cherry pick the Bible, especially the Old Testament, Because the Old Testament, God was pretty brutal there in that book. The New Testament is more about Jesus and turning the other cheek and, love your neighbors that I love you. Don't covet mine. And that's the Old Testament, actually. But yeah, I mean, the Old Testament was, very violent. So let's not cherry pick people's religious texts for violence, because it can be done to Christians too, like her. So this is my advice, but I'm sure this lady does not give a shit about my advice. So yeah, especially here, this candidate's a loud and proud Zionist. I've never seen APAC Tracker actually put that. I mean, usually they put the amount of money they've taken from APAC. So it's like, it's again, this is so dumb. It's like, what are you thinking? I mean, yeah, it's like I sure she's trying to run for office again, but wait, do I follow her? Oh no, no, okay. It says subscribe. Usually it says subscribe. I follow her. It's like, why would I follow her? Anyways, let's get to this last few more at least this story here, because as everybody knows, the Supreme Court made a couple of rulings today on the guy that they accidentally deported to El Salvador in that horrible prison, SCOTUS, that we talked about. That we talked about 2 weeks ago in episode 100, when I really went deep into that. So, Supreme Court rules Trump administration must facilitate the return of mistakenly deported man. So, oops, what did I do that for? Wait. Okay, here we go. All right. So, the Supreme Court on Thursday refused to lift the judge's order requiring the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. The court's emergency ruling instructed lower judge to clarify the language of her order, but said she acted properly in ensuring that Calmir Abrego Garcia's case is handled as it would have been if not been improperly sent to El Salvador. The district court should clarify this directive. For this part, the government should prepare to share what it can concerning steps it's taken and the prospect of further steps. The order reads, "There are no noted dissents." So this is the one where the justices ruled 9-0 to basically pressure to order the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So, and the proceedings on remand, let's see what happens there. Because already the administration is kind of like, we might do it. I don't know. We make no promises though. The administration acknowledges Abrego Garcia was wrongfully removed, but argued the courts cannot mandate his return. There we go. Since now he's in the hands of the Salvadorian authorities, who are detaining him in the country's notorious SCOTUS prison, which we discussed a few weeks ago. So the administration is arguing, "Oh yeah, we did make a mistake, but now I'm sorry, we can't bring him back. He's in the hands of another government." Abrego Garcia has lived in Maryland since 2011, when he was 16 years old. In 2019, an immigration judge issued an order preventing authorities from deporting him back to El Salvador over concerns he would face violence there. So apparently he is from El Salvador, but doesn't say he had political asylum, or doesn't say that here, but I'm assuming he got asylum somehow, or else then the judge wouldn't rule to stop deportation because of violence he would face. So I assume he had political asylum or something. Despite the order, Abrego Garcia was on board one of the series of March 15 flights that left the U.S. soil and ultimately landed in El Salvador. The Trump administration has since blamed it on an administrative error. By the way, oh yeah, we deported the wrong person. Oh, I'm sorry, it's an administrative error. Oh, by the way, we can't bring him back either because he's in another country. I mean, can you imagine?
Wasn't that the same person that Christine Noem visited just recently?
Yeah, it is. It is that prison. I mean, that's the same prison that she went to with all the tattooed guys behind her while she was like, "Hey."
Yeah. By the way, I'm sure you saw the recent post of her how she was holding her gun.
I saw the one. Yeah, I saw that one. I also saw the one with Libs of TikTok was with her arrested.
Oh yeah,
that one too. Was like, oh god, it's like they're making this into like a reality show. The administration. in which he says Jews have beards. Yep, most Jews have nasty, dirty beards too. No offense, Alex, you don't have one, but
Yeah. No offense.
so is Christianity and Judaism. Yep. Yeah, he kills everyone during Noah's Ark. Yeah, exactly. The story of the story said.
By the way, I bet they don't even know that Jesus was Jewish.
No, that's the yeah. I mean, what's funny is real quick. When I was in college, I took a religion course, and the first thing that the professor said was Jesus was not Christian. That's the first thing he wrote down on the board and did that. That was the first thing he said.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was not Christian. He was Jewish. He was Jewish. He was a Jewish rabbi. He was a different Jewish rabbi. He said different things than most rabbis, but that's ultimately what he was. Jesus was not Christian because everybody thinks Jesus was a Christian. and so it was like that's so yeah. The story says you can get your daughters drunk, or yeah, I mean that's the story of Abraham. That had to be Abraham. Jesus, a male witch who does miracle, which is a form of magic. Again, yeah, you can cherry pick any religion, and talk about how horrible it is. But despite the order, Abrego got I regret that. Administrative error, but it argues it's powerless to bring him back. Courts cannot order the executive to conduct the country's foreign relations in a particular way. Solicitor General D. John Sauer wrote in court filings. That's when it becomes an issue, though, because the courts are not really supposed to tell the administration how to handle the country's foreign relations, but yeah, you made a mistake and deported this dude when you weren't supposed to. So say, oh yeah, we sorry, we fucked up. Oh, nothing we can do about it though. So just leave him there in that prison. After Abrego Garcia's family sued U.S. District Judge Paula Zenas, an appointee of former President Obama. Here we go. This is where conservatives are saying, well, is it Obama appointing? We can ignore her, right? Who serves in Maryland, ordered the Trump administration to facilitate and effectuate Abrego Garcia's return. The Supreme Court ruling upholds the thrust of Zenas' order, but directs her to clarify the term effectuate, warning that otherwise it's unclear and could be interpreted in a way that exceeds her authority. Do you think the Supreme Court made the right judge? That doesn't matter. Zenas has ordered the administration to comply by this past Monday, but Chief Justice John Roberts put a deadline on hold until the Supreme Court resolved the administration's emergency appeal. The High Court noted that the deadline is no longer effective, but did not set a new date. The Trump administration has accused Abrego Garcia of being a member of the MS-13 gang, based on a report from a confidential informant. So who is this confidential informant? We don't know. It could be anybody. Could be somebody that the FBI paid money to. It's like, oh yeah, that dude right there, he's MS-13. And then they gave him his money, they arrested him, and that's what a confidential informant is. Ultimately, a CI. We've seen this on TV shows where police would pay CIs in order to, to give them information. And a lot of the time, if you're paying for it, the people are going to feed you bullshit, and you're going to walk right into that. I'm not suggesting that this CI in particular was paid, but that I'm just basing it off things that I've seen. So, and from police departments locally here in the Northeast. But Abrego Garcia's family said he never lived in New York, contesting that he has any gang ties. Abrego Garcia is married to a U.S. citizen and is the father of a disabled son who's also a U.S. citizen. So how a CI said that he was in New York and was MS-13, but his family says he's never actually lived in New York. So who's lying? Someone's obviously lying. But I wouldn't trust the government, I'll tell you that much. So I'm assuming the government's lying here. The Trump administration is paying the Salvadorian government $6 million to hold deportees in prison there for the next year. Abrego Garcia's lawyers blasted the Trump administration for pushing speculative difficulties of compliance as a rationale for not seeking the man's return. To the extent of returning Abrego Garcia from a U.S. contracted facility regularly visited by U.S. officials proves impossible, but requires the presidential diplomacy that the government suggests, and the government may present those facts to district court. his attorneys wrote to an apparent nod to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, who filmed a video about visiting the facility.
Hide your dogs, people.
Again, that's Abrego's lawyers makes a pretty interesting point. It's like, why? Like, wait, if it's a foreign prison and a foreign held, why in the world is U.S. officials visiting this prison? Obviously, you have a relationship with the government, or else then you wouldn't. There's no way the Homeland Security Secretary can visit that prison. So you have some influence over the government in El Salvador, which is definitely true. But the government cannot have license to evade a court order based on the hypothetical obstacles that are nothing more than a figment of its imagination. Abrego Garcia's mistaken deportation has been noted in other cases, as those suing over Trump's use of the Aliens Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans to the same facility say the error shows the risk of deporting men to a prison with zero outside review. And like Abrego Garcia, many of these men said they're not affiliated with any gang. The case is one of series of emergency applications the Trump administration has filed to the Supreme Court, which has been met with mixed results. The justices previously lifted orders blocking the administration from invoking the Alien Enemies Act, freezing $65 million in teacher grants, and firing thousands of probationary employees. But the administration has not always emerged victorious. The court last month refused to request to cancel nearly $2 billion of foreign aid payments. So, yeah. So there you go. You know, the courts are ordering the administration to bring this guy back, facilitate his return. The administration is saying, well, we would like to, but, you know, I mean, he's in another country now, and basically it's not our problem. Oh, well, you know, let's move on, right? So, yeah, that's that's the administration's attitude. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether this guy is innocent or not. Everybody says he is, but I do know one thing. I don't trust the government. So I'm going to take the word of this guy and this family over the government. I'll tell you that much. Because if you take the word of the government over, I mean, you know, the government is just, actually, no matter who's president, whether Trump is president, whether it's Obama, whether it's any future Democrat in the future, the last people we should trust is the federal government. So let's where is it?
Oh yeah, so you want to look at Kristi Noem's pose recently?
What?
Kristi Noem posing, you know, holding the rifle, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I saw that, and I saw the one with libs at TikTok.
Yeah.
Jesus was a Jewish witch. I doubt YouTube post that. No, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's
speaking of Jesus, they're coming soon with the Passion of the Christ too.
Yes, I saw that. Is Mel Gibson directing it again? I assume he is.
I believe so, yeah.
That was his movie, you know, the first one. I mean, what I don't I think Mel Gibson went on Joe Rogan recently and kind of, you know, I'm not sure they discussed the movie, but I did hear about that. I'm like, why? The whole point of the Passion of the Christ was the story of Jesus, and the story of Jesus is crucifixion. What's the second movie? What do you need a second movie for?
I mean, is he resurrected from the dead? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I'd be curious to see, you know, what that movie be about, because unless it's a totally different story in the Bible, that, like, the only thing it would be is Jesus, you know, covering Jesus's last days before he ascended to heaven. But I haven't seen that movie in 20 years, so I don't know whether they covered that in the first movie or not. So, but even then, that wouldn't be a 90-minute movie. That would probably be a 30-minute like special or something. And you wouldn't get Jim Caviezel to play Jesus again, not after the first experience he had. If you guys remember everything he went through, he was struck by lightning twice. He nearly died a couple times while filming. So, yeah, so you're not going to get Jim Caviezel to play Jesus again. They'll play Jesus again. So,
I don't think Jeff wants us to talk about Kristi Noem. So,
gnome. So, whoops, sorry about that. Oh, okay, yeah, it's this photo. I was like, what the fuck is this? Christine Noem perfectly encapsulates the Trump administration, all performative and theatrics. Yeah, it's not just her. They are. Remember the whole Epstein thing with the podcasters? They handed him like envelopes, like here with all these podcasters, and turns out to be a bunch of bullshit. It was nothing. And recently, Libs of TikTok was with Christine Noem arresting illegals. Like, why is Libs of TikTok there? She's not a cop. Like, what is she doing there? Like, why is Libs of TikTok arresting illegal aliens? She has no authority. She's not a cop. Like, why is she like even there?
She's definitely the chud of TikTok, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm on. Why is Libs of TikTok even there? I'm trying to. I was like, why are you there, woman? I mean, like, what do you? She's probably. It's just a photo op. She didn't. She's not actually in danger. She's not like going out there and arresting people. It's like it's a photo op. But still, I mean, you have no reason to be there. I can't find the picture right now, but she's wearing that ice hat, and and it's ridiculous, the whole thing. So let's see. Why is a dog besides her? What is that guy holding? I mean, look, she'll be forever known as the woman who killed her dog. So that's her legacy. No matter what she does as a Secretary of Homeland Security or whatever she does, that's what she'll be known as. So, let's see here. What else? Yeah. So, am I missing something? Wait, and where is that? Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to find. Oh, so yeah, I don't know whether that guy's gonna be back or not. I don't know whether he's guilty or innocent, but if the Trump administration made a mistake, they should bring him back. If not, I mean, I don't know what's It's just it's just a case that we need to keep an eye on more, which we definitely will. Anyways, I came across this.
I just want to mention something really quickly. So already, I just read that Minecraft 2, the movie Minecraft 2, is already in development.
Didn't that first movie just come out?
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah.
And I know he made a lot of money because it's there was a video I saw of a group of people watching the movie, and something happened and they all went nuts for it. Like I didn't understand what it was, but yeah, I'm not a big Minecraft guy. I never even played it, so I know a lot of people play it, but I don't. So I found this, like, it was.
That's okay, Steph. You can say the word.
This woman graduated from high school with honors, but can't read or write. And this is like a real report. I don't think this is satire.
Connecticut 19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to.
It's a CNN. It says CNN there, so this isn't I thought initially it was like satire or like some kind of spoof, but no. Apparently, this is real. Somehow she graduated high school with honors, but can't read or write, and she isn't slow either. I would use the R word, but it's banned. People. So. She's not slow. I mean, you can tell, she's like a normal person, but for some reason she can't read or write.
19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to study public policy, the culmination of hard work after moving north from Puerto Rico as a child.
Do you remember when you first came to Connecticut?
Yes, I remember I was very nervous, but I know it was going to be better opportunities for me. to learn.
But Alicia says those opportunities never came to fruition.
Even today, could you read this, or would it take you a long time?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford Public School System last year.
I'm sorry, how did she graduate high school if she can't read or write?
Wow, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, it's a failure of the Hartford, Connecticut school district. Why are they graduating her when she can't read or write? And she graduated with honors. That's what's worse about it. It's not just she graduated, like a regular class, it's like, hey, here's your diploma. She graduated with honors. That means almost top of her class. And somehow she can't read or write. Like, how is this I'm sorry, it's a failure of that school district to even let her graduate.
Last year.
And how does she get into college? That's a whole other thing.
She says today she is illiterate. She still doesn't know how to read or write. When she was in early education,
they would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write.
Oh my God. How did nobody notice this girl can't read? And how did she graduate high school? Yeah, in the first grade and stuff. Yeah, I mean, they teach you how to read. I mean, I know English probably wasn't her first language either, but I don't
sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write essays.
I probably didn't say lie. She said relied. That's probably what.
Oh, okay. She relied on speech-to-text apps. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Isn't it the bare minimum to graduate high school to read and write, and to do your ABCs and 1, 2, 3? Can she count?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Essays.
So, if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep. I love pizza.
This is how you would do your assignments.
And then
Cats of the World VA case.
I don't even know how to respond to that. When you graduated high school, you're 17, 18, 19 years old, and there's no kid left behind. It's nonsense. This is complete nonsense.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Like, how do you graduate that girl from high school? How? What's the reason she can't read or write? Maybe it's a disability. Dude, read or write?
Yep.
I hope that's like. I hope like he was trolling. But
You're right.
I'm assuming he's trolling because it says RIGHT instead of WRITE. But
no, I think the person definitely misspelled it.
Undiagnosed dyslexia, super common. Admin likes to kick it down the road until the student ages out. Yeah, it could be dyslexia, but at the same time, how did anybody not notice this girl can't read or write? And they graduated her anyways.
Or right.
Yeah. Honestly, the system failed her. Even working in something as basic as a restaurant, you need to be able to write down the order slips for the chef. Like, this is bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how she. I'm sorry she's illiterate, but I don't know how. I don't know how she's getting through college. I mean, is this what she's doing? Let's see. In fairness, I'm a college graduate and can't read or write in Spanish. Okay, Jeff.
Oh.
I
don't know
life
why.
does. Yeah, that was what the left did and continue to do with children. Nothing short of criminal. I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how this is the left's fault, but
yeah, stop with the left and all that stuff. No, it's stupid.
It's a failure of the education system. I mean, it's not a left or right thing. That's not political like that. Blue states like Oregon have the worst schools. Red states like Mississippi have the best. Okay. I mean, I don't, because yeah, how I don't think she's disabled or anything. She doesn't look like she's disabled.
No.
She's just uh, all right. Max says I can read, but I can't spell, and I can do limited math, and I did some college. I could read. I can't spell either. In fact, what's funny is I when in school when this is like 25 years ago. It shows my age here, but when I was in school, I mean, I had to take spelling tests all the time, and I was lucky to get a D or a C on them. I barely scraped past by. I scraped by, and with penmanship. To this day, you see my handwriting. I can't even understand what it says half the time.
I will
Because
say that I don't draw the best. I know that. I'm not a really great drawer.
we all have our issues. My stepdaughter had issues with dyslexia, just like her dad. The school solution was audiobooks. She had a hard time filling out job applications without help. Working really helped her with her reading. Reading to her child created two outstanding accomplishments. Well, that's a nice story, but ultimately, uh, eh, no, that's seeing different words or not being able to spell. My dad couldn't spell either. Yeah, he overcame his challenges, became a really good plumber, and I'm a really good artist. Well, that's great. My son is better at spelling than I am. Hell, spell check doesn't even know what I'm trying to spell half the time. Yeah, I mean, usually the way I do it is if I get it close enough, then spell check understands it, and I change it to that. But there's sometimes where I even struggle to getting it to the proper place. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I would rather, but I feel terrible for this girl. How does she get through all of school? I mean, fuck somebody. Uh, I mean, it's also a failure, honestly, of her parents too, because my mother also, she taught me basic reading before I got into school. It wasn't like, it's also a failure of her parents too. It's, this is even if you don't get taught something in school, you should be able to, I mean, you usually start your education at home. You don't start it, in school. But yeah, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I know parents work, and I know parents have very little time to teach their kids. Is in 1950s. I understand that completely. But yeah, you should have some time for your kids to like read to them or teach them their ABCs and one, two, threes before they get into kindergarten or pre-K or whatever they start off their schools at. So yeah, I mean those are all right. Steph says rich people don't want poor people to be educated. That's true. Again, I'm not.
I thought Trump loved the poorly educated.
Oh, and Trump does love the poorly educated. I'm going to be teaching my son to read and write in cursive. It's another thing. These days, that's good that you're doing that. You're going to do that because these days, when I was in school, my again, handwriting was never my thing. It was just in my cursive. I could write cursive today, but you're not going to understand what it says.
I can sign my name, but I don't really do cursive anywhere else.
Yeah, I could still write out in cursive because everybody does the signature in cursive. So, but even my nephew is Gen Z, and they never taught him cursive. All they did, and he graduated high school recently or about to. So, yeah, they just barely a signature. They don't really teach girls. They really don't teach high school cursive. Let's see. How is the rich gonna get free labor from poor people who are educated and know how fucked they are? So yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, the education system here in America is fucked. I'm glad, I went to school when I did because it wasn't as fucked, and I got a decent education. So I can read and write in cursive. My son loves books, is reading chapter books as well, and only in second grade. That's great. I mean, good.
I don't like reading fictional books. I only like reading either nonfiction books or magazines or that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I do a lot of reading. I do mostly, you know.
The only thing I'd be able to pay attention to would be like audio books or audio logs.
Yeah, audiobooks are fine, but a lot of times, especially if you're like a kid, like you want your kids to actually be able to read it, not just listen to it. So yeah, as an adult, I mean,
It'd be easier for me to follow along and think about
right,
how
right, yeah. I'm reading mystery romance right now. Okay, so that's my mother loves those books like that too.
Is it romance stuff?
Oh, I am glad I came across. I totally forgot about this. I wanted to talk about this before I wrap up.
Oh my god!
Do you see this? I assume you've seen this.
No,
Anyways, this guy says, "I'm very proud of the media's bias chart my group put together shortly before a federal grant was terminated downstream of cuts to the National Endowment of Democracy earlier this year." So I'm glad your funding got cut because this is bullshit. So I'm glad your funding got cut. This chart represents the effort of a dozen of the finest researchers I've ever worked with. Generally, the most balanced media diet is going to be provided by individuals and organizations bounded by the green ticketed box on top in the middle of the chart. In a world where the fourth and fifth estates are under attack by funding cuts and dangers and rhetoric by celebrities and public officials, it is important to support balanced and objective media providers like the BBC News, New York Times, The Atlantic, and Vox. Really, those are the worst news. I wouldn't trust anything those people say. Like, can you believe this? Like the BBC News, the New York Times, The Atlantic, and Vox. Like,
but as Nick Cruz pointed out, there's Aaron Rupar in the top left.
And Aaron Rupar being as far left as RBN is crazy work. This is honestly one of those brain dead things I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean RBN is on here. Let me just read exactly what they say.
But he called it the Black Agenda Report. They're not the Black Agenda Report. What?
Black Agenda Report is here. Revolutionary Black. I think it's two separate ones.
I thought it was all one thing.
No. It says it's two. Yeah. Revolutionary Blackout Network is next to selective, incomplete, unfair persuasion or other issues.
Incomplete. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what he's accusing him of.
The gray zone there.
Yeah. The gray zone is there. The Hartman report.
At least Destiny's there.
Destiny. Cenk Uyghur's nephew is also there. If you see right there, Hassan. Pod Save America says opinion or wide variation in reliability. Sorry.
Pod Save America, really. And then
they're there. MSNBC TV is there. Media Matters. So
Bosch is there as well.
Yeah, he's right there. They put them here. Like, basically what this guy's accusing RBN of is cherry picking or not providing the complete context of every story and stuff. It was like
no. What it really is, they don't like what they have to say.
Yeah, exactly. But technically, that's what they're accusing him of. That was misleading or, selective, incomplete, unfair persuasion. And I think Nick said, "Oh yeah, we're trying to persuade our audience. That's for sure." So again, here's on the right wing side, Fox News. Wasn't the Young Turks on this list at one point? No, I don't see him anymore here. Because I remember they made one before where the Young Turks were at. They were around here. which is mix of reporting and so Rupar is here. Mix of fact reporting and analysis, or simple fact reporting.
Yeah, really.
He's a Democrat Party operative or op. What are you talking about? He's not reporting analysis. He's just a party op. He's a Democrat Party op. Let's see. CNN is here in the middle. These are like the middle ones are apparently like the best here. And all of them coincidentally all corporate media. Right there. And Vox, all right here, all the middle ones. These are like in the green box. Okay, I understand. The green box here. Those are like the best here, according to this dude here. Which includes Fox Business, let's see, Wall Street Journal, BBC, ABC, AP, CBS, CNN, NBC, Vox, all corporate media here. Courthouse News Service is there. I don't know what that is. I haven't even heard of that. Bellingcat. Wait, Bellingcat is there?
Yeah, Bellingcat.
Oh my God, those are the people that Gray Zone called out. Max Blumenthal been calling him out for a while, and they're stuck right in the middle. Oh yeah, they're the best. It's like bullshit. Business Insider, New York Times, San Francisco Gates, I guess that is. Morning Wire, Breaking Defense. Who are these guys?
Yeah, it's
who the fuck is that?
H3 Productions or whatever.
Oh, that's Ethan Klein and his wife, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why the hell are they there?
Real people.
Why the hell are they there? That's an opinion podcast. That's not. It says skews right. So yeah, they're both Jewish there, and aren't they Zionists?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't listen to them, but I recognize once I like. Oh yeah, that's this dude and his wife. This is I forget who is this.
Robinson.
Nathan Robinson, yeah. So he's good too. Frontline PBS is good. So yeah, these are all the good guys.
I'm surprised you didn't put Jimmy Dore in there.
Jimmy Dore probably over. I don't even see him here either.
When I said over there, I didn't mean that section. I meant
Right. Yeah, so Al Jazeera is here for some reason, which is around here, which is the mix of fact reporting and analysis. So they're kind of like in their. Mother Jones is here. The Current Affairs, MSNBC TV is here. So I've seen this report before where they put RBN here. Somebody else did it, something similar. And I'm like, yeah, they, like you said, they don't want to hear from RBN. So that's why they're kind of smearing him there. They're definitely smearing him there. So, yeah, this is all bullshit. This is all just...
Now, my question is, why is Destiny there twice? Because there's Destiny there, and he's posting the picture of who is Destiny.
Oh, yeah, there is. And it's obviously another Destiny then. Because why would they put him there and then put his photo here? Yeah, so he's there twice. Oh, I just noticed Joe Rogan is here. What does that mean? So he's in the same place as RBN, which is selective, incomplete, unfair persuasion, or other issues. So he's there, and RBN's here. The Gray Zone's also there, by the way. So, and Destiny, both Destinies, I guess, they're there. Hannity, Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly's still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Oh, he's BillO'Reilly.com. News. That channel that Cuomo's on. News Nation, yeah. I forgot he was still alive. I mean, Joe Rogan's there. So all of these people here, Newsbusters, they all allegedly have selective, incomplete, unfair persuasion or other issues. So even Joe Rogan, and RBN is there, and they shouldn't be there, but that's why they're there, because nobody wants to hear what they have to say, especially especially Nick and Rome and all those guys over there on RBN, and girls too at Savvy. So yep, so those are, let's do that. Oh, Bill Maher is not, yeah, Bill Maher. I just butchered this bar. Yeah, I just butchered his name. Doesn't matter because I'm not sure. I don't think I saw this clip real quick before we go. Bill Maher introducing Crystal Ball, I think in her last appearance on his show, and Bill Maher butchered Kyle's names, which is hilarious. Did you see that clip?
No, I didn't.
It's on YouTube. I just saw it on YouTube yesterday. That's hilarious. I think it might have been Crystal's last appearance on the show. He said, "Oh, she's the host of 2 podcasts, Breaking Points with Crystal and Salgar." Butchered Salgar. I just butchered his name too. And then he said she's also the host of Crystal Kyle and Friends. Like he called Kyle Kale. Just totally butchered his name too. It's like that I found funny. Sagar, that's his name, Sagar. I forgot what it was. So yeah, that's why I thought it was kind of hilarious. Yes, unfortunately, O'Reilly's still alive. I know he is. I just forgot he was for a second. So yeah, I do have to go. It's like 9:10, and I'm just babbling along here, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Angel in the Afternoon. No pro wrestling talk tomorrow. No, this week or next weekend either, because this week Witchy is not available, and next week is WrestleMania, so we can't do it either. So we'll be back with you guys April 26th, which is the last Saturday of the month. We'll be reviewing WrestleMania both nights. If you're interested in that, please check us out there, April 26th. And yes, I'll be doing, me, Alex, and a bunch of people will be doing Steph's birthday bash, which will probably air next Sunday, the 20th, which is her birthday. And, check that out on her channel as well. So that'll be there on the 20th, I suspect, which is night 2 of WrestleMania, by the way. So, yeah, look forward to that. And also, make sure you check out Angel in the Afternoon next Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back here discussing more politics, more of the fucked up world we all live in. And unfortunately, I have to write it down, and I have to let you guys know how fucked up the world is because I like doing this and I enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoy the show with me and have a great time here with hanging out with us. Thank you, Alex, for joining me once again. And I'll see you guys next Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Have a nice weekend.